Hello enthusiasts, and welcome back to the channel. In today's educational video, we're taking a deep dive into the science of auto-flowering cannabis plants. We'll explore the history, basics, and benefits of these amazing plants, and then I'll take you on a journey through the complete life cycle of an auto-flowering plant over a 10-week period. But before we begin, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest videos. Also, please remember that this is an educational video, and therefore all information provided is for educational purposes only. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get started. Auto-flowering cannabis plants are varieties that begin flowering based primarily on age and genetics, rather than changes in the light cycle. Unlike photoperiod cannabis plants, which require a change in light exposure, auto-flowering plants begin to flower based on their age, which typically begins within 2 to 4 weeks after germination. This characteristic is due to the genetics of Cannabis ruderalis, which is a subspecies native to regions with short growing seasons and harsh climates, like parts of Russia and Central Asia. Unlike Cannabis sativa and Cannabis indica, ruderalis naturally adapted to these conditions by developing the ability to flower based on time rather than light, ensuring it could complete its life cycle before the cold set in, ensuring survival in its native environment. Despite this incredible adaptability, auto-flowering cannabis didn't gain widespread recognition until the later part of the 20th century. Now that we've covered some background on today's topic, I want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, Spider Farmer. As much as I like being hands-on in the grow room, the truth is sometimes life gets in the way, and that's where Spider Farmer comes in. Since 2009, Spider Farmer has been building complete indoor growing solutions, from grow tents to ventilation systems to LED lights, controllers, and now smarter ways to connect the entire grow space. One product that I find interesting and that can be really useful for managing indoor grows is the Spider Farmer 6-inch clip fan. Upgraded in 2026, this clip fan has a reinforced structure for improved durability and stability, an EC motor, 10 fan speeds, 10-level wide-angle oscillation, and an IP54 waterproof rating. Another part of the Spider Farmer grow system that I think is worth mentioning is their 6-inch inline fan with GGS controller. This 6-inch inline fan helps manage air exchanges inside the tent by using a mixed-flow design with an EC motor, providing airflow up to 402 CFM, while only using 62 watts of power. But what I really like about this product is its use of smart controls. With the GGS controller and Spider Farmer app, you can control the inline fan from your phone and choose between different operating modes. You can run it manually, set start and stop times, create cycle schedules, or use environment mode to have the system respond based on temperature and humidity. Another product that I think could be helpful for growers of any level is the Spider Farmer GGS Sensor Pro Kit. This is a 5-in-1 sensor that monitors temperature, humidity, CO2, VPD, and PPFD, ultimately giving growers a clearer picture of what is actually happening inside the grow space. And that can help support healthier growth, better quality, and a more efficient grow with less manual intervention. Another product that can be valuable to indoor growers is the Spider Farmer 16-liter Cool Mist Humidifier. With a 16-liter capacity, 4 adjustable mist levels, and a maximum humidification capacity of 1,400 milliliters per hour, it is built for larger tent setups or bigger indoor growing projects where maintaining humidity can become more difficult. So if you are building a new indoor grow setup, upgrading your current tent, or just looking for a smarter way to manage your environment, definitely check out Spider Farmer. And in addition to sponsoring this video, Spider Farmer has been kind enough to send over a discount code for you to use if you're interested in any of their products. Make sure to use code CannabisGuy at checkout for 8% off your purchase. I'll leave the product links for the clip fan, the 6-inch inline fan kit with GGS smart controller, the GGS Sensor Pro Kit, and the 16-liter Cool Mist humidifier in the description below. Thanks again to Spider Farmer for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get back to today's topic. In the 1970s and 1980s, cannabis breeders began to experiment with ruderalis genetics to create plants that could thrive in regions with short growing seasons and inconsistent light cycles. However, these early hybrids often fell short in terms of potency and yield compared to traditional strains. It wasn't until the 1990s that significant progress was made by a grower named Sasha Pritik, whom is also referred to as the Joint Doctor. Hailing from Canada, he successfully crossbred ruderalis with potent indica and sativa strains, aiming to retain the autoflowering trait while enhancing cannabinoid content, flavor, and yield. Of his first successful autoflowering strains was Lowrider, which demonstrated that autoflowering plants could be both potent and high-yielding. Lowrider was reportedly inbred for 9 generations and is believed to be a hybrid of Northern Lights No. 2 and Williams Wonder. Today, breeders have continued to refine autoflowering genetics, producing a wide variety of strains with diverse cannabinoid profiles, flavors, and effects. Modern autoflowers can now rival traditional photoperiod strains in terms of potency and quality. Autoflowering cannabis plants offer several compelling benefits that make them a favorite among growers, both novice and experienced alike. One of the primary advantages is their speed. Autoflowers are known for their quick life cycle, often completing their growth from seed to harvest in as little as 8 to 12 weeks. This rapid turnaround is particularly beneficial for growers who want to achieve multiple harvests in a single season, or those who live in regions with shorter growing seasons. Growers don't have to worry about adjusting light schedules or ensuring their plants receive uninterrupted darkness, making the process much simpler and less stressful, especially for beginners. Resiliency of autoflowering plants is another noteworthy benefit. These plants are typically more resistant to environmental stressors and can be hardy when facing pests and diseases. Now that we've explored the basics, history, and benefits of autoflowering cannabis plants, let's dive into the life cycle of an autoflower over a 10-week period. Week 1. Germination and seedling stage. In the first week, begin by germinating the autoflower seeds. This can be done using the paper towel method, directly in the soil or in a starter cube. Once the seed has sprouted, you'll want to plant it in its final pot, as autoflowers don't handle transplanting well. Choose a pot that's about 2 to 3 gallons in size to give the roots plenty of room to grow. Place the pot under a grow light, ideally with a light cycle of 18 to 20 hours on and 4 to 6 hours off. Ensure that the soil remains moist but not waterlogged, and keep the temperature around 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit with a humidity level of about 60 to 70%. Week 2. Early vegetative stage. By the second week, the seedling should start to grow more leaves and develop a stronger root system. At this point, the plant should be receiving around 18 to 20 hours of light a day. During this time, the plant will be establishing its roots, so make sure to keep watering to a minimal but maintain consistency so the top inch of the soil remains moist. If you're using nutrients, start with a very light feeding of nitrogen-rich fertilizer, but be careful not to overfeed, as autoflowers are more sensitive to nutrients than photoperiod plants. The temperature should remain stable, and humidity can be slightly lowered to around 50 to 60%. Week 3. Vegetative growth continues. In the third week, you'll notice the plant's growth accelerating. The root system is expanding rapidly, and the plant is building the foundation for healthy flowering. Continue with the light schedule of 18 to 20 hours of light per day and ensure that the plant is receiving enough water. You can gradually increase the nutrient dosage, but keep it on the lighter side to prevent nutrient burn. As the plant becomes bushier, consider low-stress training, LST, to gently bend the branches and encourage more light to reach the lower parts of the plant. The temperature should remain consistent, around 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, with humidity around 50 to 60%. Week 4. Pre-flowering stage. By the fourth week, the plant will start showing signs of pre-flowering. you'll notice small white hairs or pistils beginning to emerge at the nodes, indicating that the plant is preparing to transition into full bloom. At this stage, gradually reduce the nitrogen in the nutrient mix and increase the levels of phosphorus and potassium, which support flowering. The plant will continue to stretch during this period, so maintaining your light schedule is crucial. Consider also reducing the humidity slightly to around 45 to 55% to prepare the plant for the flowering phase. Week 5. Full flowering begins. In the 5th week, the plant will be fully into the flowering stage. The buds will start to form and swell, and the plant's energy will focus on producing flowers rather than growing taller. It's important to switch to a nutrient mix that's higher in phosphorus and potassium to support bud development. Continue with an 18 to 20-hour light cycle, but ensure the plant has complete darkness during its off hours, as this helps in the development of buds. The plant may still stretch a little, but most of its growth will now be directed toward flowering. Maintain a temperature of around 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit and lower the humidity further to 40 to 50% to prevent mold and mildew in the dense buds. Week 6, bud development. During the 6th week, the plant's buds will become denser and more resinous. Trichome production will increase, giving the buds a frosty appearance. Continue feeding the plant with flowering nutrients and keep an eye on the pH levels of the water and soil to ensure nutrient absorption remains optimal. At this point, monitor the environment closely, as temperatures should remain stable and humidity should be kept low to 40 to 45% to protect the buds from mold. Week 7. Bud maturation. In the 7th week, the buds will continue to mature and swell, becoming more resinous and aromatic. The pistils may start to change color, turning from white to amber or brown, indicating that the buds are ripening. At this stage, you may notice the plant slowing down its nutrient uptake, which is natural as it begins to focus more on final bud development. Lower the humidity to 35 to 40% to keep the buds dry and prevent any mold issues. Week 8, final stages. By the 8th week, the plant will be approaching the end of its life cycle. The buds will be near their maximum size and trichomes will be reaching peak potency. This is a critical time to observe the trichomes closely. You're looking for a milky white or amber color, which indicates the optimal time for harvest. Many growers start flushing their plants during this week, using only plain water to ensure a smoother final product with better taste and burn quality. The plant's nutrient needs will be minimal now, so focus on maintaining a stable environment with low humidity, 30 to 40%, and consistent temperatures. Week 9, flushing and ripening. In the 9th week, if you haven't already started, begin flushing the plant with plain water to remove any remaining nutrients in the soil. The plant's leaves may start to yellow, which is normal as the plant uses up its remaining stored nutrients. Continue monitoring the trichomes to determine the perfect harvest time. The aroma of the plant will be at its strongest, and the buds should be dense, sticky, and covered in trichomes. Keep the humidity low and the environment stable as you approach harvest. Week 10. Harvest time. In the final week, the auto-flowering plant should be ready for harvest. The trichomes should have reached the desired color, and the pistils will have darkened, indicating that the buds are fully mature. Harvest your plant by cutting down the branches and hanging them upside down in a dark, well-ventilated area to dry. The drying process typically takes about a week, after which you can trim the buds and begin the curing process to further enhance their potency, flavor, and smoothness. As we reach the end of our deep dive into the world of auto-flowering cannabis plants, I hope you found this educational video helpful and inspiring for your own journey. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your fellow enthusiasts. Your support helps us continue to create informative content for the community. And if you have any questions or ideas for future videos, drop them in the comments below. We would love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching and stay curious.